Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my 5-star predictions for 2024. I'm so excited about this. I also figured that we should go over my 5-star predictions from last year as well to see if one, I have read those books, and if two, I was correct. So let me pull that up first, and that's what we'll do first, but then we'll go over a bunch more that I have for this year that I'm really excited about. We're going to talk about a bunch that are on my physical TBR now, and a bunch that I have pre-ordered this year that I have really high hopes for. So let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to some 5-star predictions. Nice and simple, this video concept. It's in the name. I'm going to predict some books that I have and some books that I'm very excited for that I'm releasing this year that are going to be 5 stars for me. The first one we're going to talk about is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, because I've given the previous 2 books 5 stars. So for Oathbringer, I did read this one, but it was not 5 stars. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I'm not entirely sure, but it was not a 5-star read for me. In the Stormlight Archives, it is my least favorite so far. That's not to say that it wasn't also amazing, because Brandon Sanderson, his work is incredible. The next one is another sequel, again to one that I've given 5 stars, and that is Blade Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. Now, Realmbreaker is my favorite ever. I love it so much. Well, I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you if it's 5 stars. Because I'm very nervous about reading this one, and I kind of want to have book 3 on hand because I've heard that book 2 has a nasty cliffhanger, so I kind of want to have book 2 on hand, or book 3 on hand before I dive into book 2. So I haven't read this one yet, so I can't tell you. On to the next. Oops. The next one is another sequel. The 3 that are sequels. That is Ruin by John Green. Whoops! It's a little different. Another one that I have not read. Oh no. Honestly, I could probably keep this in this prediction though, because as I say right here, because these 2 sequels I have not given 5 stars to, but they've been really close. They've been like high 4.5 stars. So I'm really hoping that there's one in this series that gets me to that 5-star, and I think it's gonna be Ruin. Why? Because I think it's going to ruin me. Literally the same reasons, so I guess we could keep Ruin on this list for this year. Because I do plan on reading Ruin this year. Both Ruin and the last one, Wrath. I keep thinking it's Ruin and then Valor, but Valor was the second one. These are all by John Gwynne. Haven't read this one either. Whoops! On to the next. Now we're going to get into 3 that are on my shelves that I don't know why they feel like they're going to be 5 stars for me. Well, I guess we'll find out why when I talk about them, but yeah, 3 of them that I've not read anything from these authors before. 3 of them that I haven't really heard much about other than like a little bit of hype surrounding it, but also like very little about what the actual book is about, kind of a thing. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I've heard like the pitches of most of them, but I haven't heard like details about what it's about, you know? Anyways, the first one here is The Sword of Kaigan by Emma Wong. This is a standalone, self-pub indie epic fantasy novel that I have seen on the internet get so much love. And that love is very, very granted because this was a 5-star. This ruined my entire life when I read it. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not gonna lie, I do have Emma Wong's other book, Blood Over Brighthaven, on this list as a 5-star prediction. Spoilers for later in this video when we get to that part, but yes, my prediction was correct. This ruined me. It was 5 stars, The Sword of Kaigan. Chef's kiss. What a book. And I keep meaning to read it. Like it feels like a November and a January book to read, and I need to read it. So I need to find out that if this is going to be 5 stars or not. And I feel like it's going to be 5 stars because it just feels like it's going to be exactly what I want to read. And it's Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Hero. It is a Victorian fantasy that's like, I don't know, atmospheric and dark, and it feels like it's gonna be a juicy read. Like, this was not 5 stars, and it kind of disappointed me, and I don't think I'm going to be continuing with this trilogy either. It was fine. I don't really remember a lot about it. Like, it's kind of forgettable, which is sad. It did give a little of the atmosphere. It was a like November, December, January book-ish. It just didn't give what it was wanting to give, so this prediction was incorrect, which is very sad. And the last one that I own physically is a little bit of a wild card because I don't remember if I've ever given a like epic space opera or a sci-fi, 5 stars, other than Becky Chambers. And even Becky Chambers' books, like her Wayfarer series, which are the space operas, not all of them in the Wayfarer series are 5 stars for me. And I'm trying to think of other ones that I really, really love, and I think the only ones that kind of are that are the Last Watch and the Exiled Fleet, and neither of those are a full 5 star for me. So I don't know about this one. A little bit of a wild card, but I have a good feeling about it. And that is The Stars Undying by Emery Robin. This one, I don't know anything about. All I know is that it's a queer... I think my prediction radar is off because this one was also not 5 stars. And like, I think when I was reading it, I was not in the right headspace for it because it was a very complex, like convolutedly dry sci-fi, but I kind of knew, like I was reading it from like the outside in. I wasn't really connected to anyone. I wasn't really connecting with the story or anything. Like I recognized it was a really good book. I think I gave it like 4 stars, maybe 3.5, 4 stars. And it just, I know that if upon reread, if I'm really in the mood for something like that, I feel like it might hit more than it did when I first read it, but as of right now, no. It was not a 5 star. My predictions were wrong. On to the next. Anyway, let's talk about the ones that are coming this year that I think are going to be 5 stars for me, myself, and I. One easy one that I can get out of the way is going to be Bear of Winter by Hannah Long, which is Asian Long, the Hall of Smoke series book. This was not a 5 star. It's the only Hannah Long book so far out of the 4 that I have read that I have not given. Out of the 3 that I have read that I have not given a 5 star to. It was fine. Still very enjoyable. Still had all the hallmarks of her writing that I really liked. Just something about it just didn't click as hard as the rest of her stories did for me. There was just something a little missing from it. But also another spoiler for later in this video when I talk about her 4th book and her 5th book. And of course, how could I not mention this, but A Day of Falling Night by Samantha Shannon. Priory of the Orange Tree is one of my favorite fantasy books of all time. So the fact that we're getting another one in this world that's even gayer and bigger and juicier, I cannot wait. And it's going to be 5 stars. That one, I can tell you right now, is going to be 5 stars. Well, I don't know if it's 5 stars because I haven't fucking read it yet. Because it's also on this list. I forgot that I included it in this list last year. It's on this list for 5 star predictions because I still believe that. I still believe it's going to be a full 5 stars. I absolutely love Priory. This one is just apparently gayer and more iconic, so I'm ready. I'm ready for it. And I just didn't read it last year, but spoiler for the next part of this video. Again, geez. Another one, again, by Hannah Long, is going to be Dark Water Daughter. That one's coming out in July. Guarantee that's going to be 5 stars. Guarantee it! It was! It was my favorite book of the year last year. It was 5 stars. It's so fucking good. Love. Love. Pirates and fantasy are my favorite. And again, I love her writing so much, so it's going to be 5 star. And other than that, there is also the sequel to She Who Became the Sun that's expected this year. I believe it's He Who Drowned the World. This one was not a full 5 star. I think I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, so it came really, really, really close. And it's just because it should have been a trilogy, and the ending of that one was very rushed and squished into the package. And I wish that Shelley Parker Chan had been allowed to do this in a trilogy because it would have been a perfect trilogy if they had been allowed to do that. So close though. 4.5 stars. I really also want to say, like, the Rick Riordan books might be 5 stars. They might just be 5 stars, and they're coming out this year. Like the Nico and Will book that's coming out, that he's co-authored with someone, and then the Chalice of the Gods, which is Percy Jackson #6. I have not read either of those. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Wow, this is just a good view of like what I actually read when I say I'm gonna read. Whoops! Hope both of those are 5 stars because just for nostalgia factor. But other than that, I think I'm also going to predict that The Ashfire King by Chelsea Abdullah is going to be 5 stars as well. This is not out yet. This is not out yet. Fuck if I know why. It just keeps getting pushed and it's not even up for pre-order anywhere. Even though we have a cover and we've had a cover for well over a year now. Where is this? Where is this? Orbit. I had to look at the publisher. Orbit. Where is it? Give it to us. I really want this book. Anyways, that is it from my previous 5 star prediction video. So, yikes, my friends. Heckin' yikes. Only 2 were a yes, and then I didn't read a lot of them. So, whoops. Whoopsie daisies. Oh well. All right, so I did talk about a few that are on my predictions list already. So we have, of course, Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong. This is on this list because The Sword of Kaigen was 5 stars, and I've heard only good things about this. This is like dark academia vibes. The tagline in the back is, "Magic has made the city of Tehran an industrial utopia, but magic has a cost. Magic always has a price, dearie. And the collectors have come calling." I'm excited for this. I really, really liked Emma Wong's writing with The Sword of Kaigen. So this one, I'm hoping and I'm predicting is going to be 5 stars. The other one is Pillar of Ash by Hannah Long, by H.M. Long, which is the 4th book in the 4 Pillars series. Finally got the series name right for this one. It's the Hall of Smoke series that I absolutely adore. First 2 books were 5 stars for me. The 3rd book was, I think, 4 stars. So we'll see what this one ends up being. But I have high hopes for it because I just absolutely love Hannah Long's writing. I adore her as a person, and her fantasy books are some of my favorite fantasy books of all time. So I'm really, really excited for this. This is the finale in this companion series. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see where this goes. And also, speaking of Hannah Long, I have to put Black Tide Sun on this. This is one of the pre-orders for this year that I have. What did I do with my... Ooh, my book journal's over there. Hold on. This is one of my pre-orders for this year that I'm very excited about because Dark Water Daughter was my favorite book of the year last year. I have to predict that this one's also going to be just iconic. So I'm very ready. That one is coming out in July. So I got my pre-orders here. I'll go through them in a second. But yes, another Hannah Long that I'm so excited for. And then, of course, this one that I mentioned earlier, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Again, it's going to be 5 stars. I have just the feeling, and I will be getting to it this year because it's on multiple TBRs of mine for this year, and it's honestly a crime that I didn't get to it last year. I did sort of start it, but mood readers be mood reading, you know? But yes, this one, definitely. Okay, so those are the 3 that I did mention during this first part of the video. Let's get into the other books that I predict are gonna be 5 stars for me. Anyways, all right, so this one next is probably gonna be a little bit of a cheat because I am currently reading it, but I had this on this list. I like piled up this list before I started reading this book. So it was on my 5-star predictions before I started reading it. And now that I have started reading it, it is still a 5-star prediction. So I'm like 120 pages in. If the next 70% of this book goes downhill, I'm gonna be so sad, but it is Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. This book is fucking phenomenal. Like, as I said, 120 pages in. First 80 pages, I was already like, I'm gonna be fully obsessed with this for the rest of my life. Writing, fantastic. The whole like crafting of it so far, so good. It's 3rd person omniscient narration, so it's a 3rd person, but it's like it can jump from person to person within the same chapter. It's not limited to anyone, it's just kind of everyone. And it's giving such a really good cast of characters. And usually when I read 3rd person omniscient, I have a hard time connecting to the characters, but I'm already like in love with our cast of characters that we have so far. Love. And the nuance and the examination of racism and the prison system so far, it's only in the first 120 pages, already incredible. And I'm so excited to see what the commentary on the gamification of death and death games and like fighting to the death and like making it like a sports game really boils down to in this. Love. Love, 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 love. This is gonna be 5 stars. I have such high hopes, and if they are crushed, I will be so sad. But 5 stars. It better be. It better be. I'm gonna be so sad if it's not. Another book that I have on my February TBR that is hopefully gonna be 5 stars as well is The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. Why is this on here? 1, because I fucking love N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin wrote my favorite trilogy of all time. All 3 of those books in the Broken Earth trilogy are 5 stars for me. So I only have high hopes for the rest of what she's written. The only 5-star I've read so far this year also has been an N.K. Jemisin. It's been her first sector graphic novel. So I'm so in, and I have really high hopes for this. Also because this is one of the 12 books that my friends picked for me to read this year off of my shelves. And when my friends were here to pick all my books around Christmas, I think they were here for Friendsmas when they were all picking my books for me. And when one of my friends, Samuel, ended up picking it off my shelves, another one of my friends, Alexander, was like, yes, oh my God, I love that trilogy. It's even better than the Broken Earth trilogy for me. So I was like, let's fucking go, you know? I'm so excited about this. I know literally nothing about it, only that it is N.K. Jemisin, and I'm in. I'm ready, because N.K. Jemisin is one of my favorite authors of all time. The next one, and kind of the last fantasy one on this list, there's only 3 more to talk about of physical ones, and then we'll dive into pre-orders, which are all fantasy and sci-fi. But the next one that is like a physical fantasy book that I have is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. I originally, and like low-key, have very low expectations for this, but like when I was looking at my shelves and looking at all the books that I could predict to be 5 stars, I was like, I feel like this could go absolutely incredibly for me or be a total loss, because I don't know why. This is like Brandon Sanderson's first proper romance type fantasy book. Like romance is like one of the top plot lines, if not the main plot line of this. And I love Brandon Sanderson. Y'all know how much I love Brandon Sanderson. Like Tress of the Emerald Sea, I think I gave 5 stars when I read it last year or the year before. I can't remember when I read it. I can't remember when I read it. Oh, it was last year. Kickstarter. That's right. And it was a surprise for me because I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. It's Princess Bride retelling, right? So that was the one that I was the most excited about as part of the Kickstarter and as part of his like 4 novel stupidity that he did in the pandemic, right? After that, like each one of them was just kind of, like the other ones I was just like not like super interested in. But then I heard a few things about this, about it being a romance and about it being, or like having a romance centered. I don't actually know if it's a romance, but like it sounds like it could be incredible and really, really hit for me. So I'm gonna just believe in that vibe. And when I get to this one, I really hope I'm gonna love it. And hopefully it's just gonna be incredible. Last 2 here are a little less fantasy leaning than the other ones. Last 2 of my physical TBR. But I have The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez, and I know nothing about this book other than the fact that Simon Jimenez wrote The Spear Cuts Through Water, this bad boy, which is like 4.5 stars for me. Loved it so much, loved his writing, incredible. Didn't realize that this was the same author either until I saw his last name when I was looking at books on Book Outlet. And I immediately picked this up and I was like, I have such high hopes for this because Simon Jimenez's writing is just absolutely stunning. So I feel like this could be an unassuming 5 star. We're gonna give it that title, the unassuming 5 star. That's literally all I know about this book, and that's why I'm predicting it to be 5 stars, just because he wrote The Spear Cuts Through Water, and I really, really enjoyed that one. So maybe I'll love this one too. Last one is another wild card. It's White Horse by Erica T. Worth. This is supposed to be a like horror-y, thriller-y vibe. Could be wrong. But on the back, we have Stephen Graham Jones, we have Grady Hendrix, we have Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and we have Rebecca Roanhorse, all tagging, all like with comments about this book. Across them all, it's called about family ties. It's called like metal to the end. It's Denver to the core. It's a native without trying. There's blood, there's ghosts, there's roller coasters, and there are about 1,000 cigarettes smoked. What else can you ask for in a novel? Family ties are made from rusty barbed wire in White Horse, a book that feels as welcome as a dark bar on a hot afternoon, and whose story burns like a shot of rot-gut whiskey. Like, this just sounds like it's gonna be so fucking good. And I love Indigenous literature, especially Indigenous horror-leaning books, because something about the storytelling in Indigenous books, the ones that I have read at least, have all enchanted me in a very unique, very special way. So I'm just hoping that this one gets me in the way that like Bad Cree did, because this is also one that I found off of Storygraph, because Storygraph has a wonderful feature where you can type in a book and you can actually go to like similar books and it'll show you books that are tagged very similarly and have similar themes that, or like are focused on like certain elements of the story that are similar to that one book. And this came up on that list. So, and it was already one that I was like eyeing because I was like, I love Indigenous horror. Like I gotta pick this up. And I just have such high hopes in this cover. It's so pretty. I can't get over the reflection in her sunnies. It's so, I'm ready. I'm ready to dive into this. Anyways, so those are all the physical books that I have that are on my prediction list. Let me take a look at the pre-orders that I have coming in this year that I have high hopes for, that I think might be 5 stars. Oh, What Feasts the Night by T. Kingfisher. I'm so fucking excited for this. And it should be coming out like very, very, very soon. Like I should be getting my pre-order imminently because it's coming out February. I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but I know it's coming out in February. And ooh, I absolutely loved the first one in this little duology trilogy. I don't know what T. Kingfisher is doing, but it's What Moves the Dead. It's based off of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. I fucking loved it. It was delicious and incredible, and I just cannot wait for this. This, I'm predicting to be 5 stars as well, because the first one was 5 stars. I cannot wait. And coming out in April, The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches is one of my favorite books of all time. Upon rereads, love, 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 love. Every time I read it, it feels like coming home. And this is her second book set in this world. I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited for this, and it's gonna be 5 stars. I'm predicting it now, it's gonna be 5 stars. Oh my god. And I think one more that I will mention, besides Black Tide Sun, which I mentioned earlier, I think The Lotus Empire, which is coming out in November this year. I don't have it pre-ordered yet because it wasn't available for pre-order when I was pre-ordering all my books at the end of last year. But I think this one is going to be 5 stars as well because the Jasmine Throne and the Oleander Sword were both like, I think the Jasmine Throne ended up being like 4 stars upon reread, and then Oleander Sword was easy 5 stars. So I am so excited to get into this sapphic wonderfulness and finish this trilogy. Y'all, I'm so excited for this. I have such high hopes. And I love Tasha Shuri, and I will protect her with my entire heart. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared for this ending, but I'm so excited, and it's gonna be 5 stars. Anyways, my friends, that is all I have for you today. Those are my 5-star predictions for 2024. I will see you back in 2025 to confirm or deny whether all of these end up being 5 stars and see if I fixed my radar at all from last year, because wow, 2 out of that entire list. Granted, I didn't read a number of them. I haven't read a number of them as of yet, but we'll see if I fix my radar. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below what one of your 5-star predictions is for this year. I would love to know. I will catch you guys in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.